Hey there, Yogi. Welcome to Getting Started with Your Yoga Practice. This is a series that will be ongoing here at the studio for beginners or people that are new to yoga that want to begin a yoga practice, but would love to do it in the privacy of their own homes or on their own pace before they join the studio or practice with us. So if that is you, then this practice is for you. This will be a 20-minute gentle yoga class. We'll give you the whole spectrum. We'll do a little bit of breath work, we'll do a little bit of meditation, and we'll move and stretch in between. So for this class, you can grab two towels, two like bath towels, beach towels, or two thin yoga blankets if you happen to have them. And when you're ready, I'll meet you on your mat. For today's practice, we're beginning seated. So you can walk your sits bones back. You can see here that I have my two towels or two blankets underneath my seat, and that helps to prop up your hips a bit so that you can sit up a little higher, and it also protects your knees. So let's start with a cross-legged position. We call this easy seat or Sukhasana. Any of those pose names are fine. And we'll begin by sitting down and just really, take a moment. You can even close your eyes or soften your gaze and just start to feel your seat on the blanket. You want to feel really strong and supported and comfortable with your seat. And we're going to begin with a little bit of breath work and as we enter into class. So you can close your eyes, you can bring your hands onto your knees, and just take a moment to notice your breath. So now we'll begin to count the breath. Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it all the way up. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let it all out. Do 3 more of those. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it all the way out. Breathe in. 3 and 4. Pausing. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more. Inhale. Pause at the top. Exhale. Let's do 2 more of those quiet breaths. Pause at the top. Exhale. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. So both inhale and exhale are coming through the nose. Breathe in. Pause at the top. And if you want, you can exhale through your mouth. Perfect. Let's return to normal breath. Keep your eyes closed if you can, and just notice your body. As you're noticing your body, become aware of the feelings, the sensations in your body. Trying to quiet your thoughts. And if you can't quiet them, then just redirect. What does my shoulder feel like? Or my hips, my knees, my ankles feel like? How are you arriving today, right? What's your energy? Are you nervous? Are you bored? Are you excited? Right? Having awareness of how you show up is so, so important. And it's a critical part of the yoga practice. Now that you have a sense of how you feel, let's take our hands. You can place them on your heart. You can place them in prayer at your heart center. We'll take a moment to set an intention for practice today. And as this is a beginner's practice and a beginner's class and a beginner series, maybe an intention could be to begin with grace, to begin with ease, to begin with compassion, to begin. And really feel that in your heart. Accepting the intention, allowing the intention into your body. And then we'll take a letting go breath. So a nice big ha sound on the exhale. Let's breathe in. Exhale. Ha. So let's start by reaching hands up to the sky. Breathe in. And exhale. If you can, twist over to the right. Bring your left hand onto your right knee. And then place your right hand on the floor behind you. Inhale, lengthen up through your spine. And exhale, twist. You can look over your shoulder and gaze towards the back of the room. You're going to keep your seat nice and firm on your blankets. And if you can, reach your head up nice and tall. Let's breathe in together. And exhale to twist. On your next inhale, we'll lengthen up a little bit more. On the exhale, we'll twist even further and take 2 more breaths in this shape. In through the nose, breathing in. Out through the mouth, breathing out. On your next inhale, we'll twist up to center, reaching hands up to the sky. And exhale, twist over to the left. Bringing right hand onto left knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Again, maybe looking over your left shoulder. Finding that length in your spine. Exhale to twist a bit more. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 more breaths. On your exhale, we'll twist back through center. Inhale, sweep hands up to the sky. Exhale, you can bring hands down through heart center, and let's come into tabletop. We'll readjust our blankets. Maybe just one blanket for underneath your knees. You don't need to use a blanket at all if you're on a carpeted surface. You might not need it at all, but if you're on a hard surface like I am, it can be nice to have something underneath your knees. I'm pressing palms into the ground. Pressing palms into the ground. I'll press down and then try to find some length in your spine. So you want to be drawing your tailbone back. And at the same time, drawing your head forward. And this creates a nice long spine. That's what we do here in yoga. We create long spines. So pressing into the ground, getting nice and long. And then see if you can lift your belly up towards your spine. Perfect. And let's hang here on our tabletop, continuing to press your hands into the ground. Imagine that you're pressing a stuck door, right? You want to be active in your arm bones, and that's always true in this shape. You can have your toes curled under for a little bit more support. You can also bring your feet flat onto the ground. There's a lot of little, variations in yoga practice that can really help you to curate and modify your practice in a way that feels good for you in any day. So always know that that's an option to you. Inhale, let's tilt tailbone up to the sky and head up to the sky. Dropping belly down to the earth. This is our cow pose. Breathe in. Breathe in. Shine your heart forward if you can. Beautiful. Take a breath in. And then on your exhale, round your spine. Dropping tailbone and head down to the earth. Letting it all go. Ha. Perfect. Inhale. Let's tilt tailbone and head up to the sky. Cow pose. Breathing in, shining that heart. Exhale, round and empty. Dropping tailbone and head down to the earth, letting it all out. Ha. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale to your cat. I'm going to continue this movement, and what I would love for you to do is to really match your breath with the movement. So going nice and slow. Inhaling, lifting up and open. Exhale, rounding and emptying. And continue that. Continue that. Following breath. Let's do 3 more rounds. So what we're doing here is really finding a moving meditation. Matching that breath and movement together. Now let's come to an even tabletop. Here I want you to press both hands into the ground. Press your left knee, your left foot into the ground, and then send right toes nice and long. Now it's common when we do this to drop the right hip, and I want you to keep it lifted up nice and tall, just like your left hip, same height as your left hip. And if you're ready, and if you can, press your right heel back. Lift it up off the ground, and let's really, really pull that belly into spine so that you're nice and strong here. If you're feeling adventurous, if you're athletic, if you're coming to this practice for the first time and you've done plenty of movement before, then you can send your left arm nice and long. It's not necessary. Let's take 3 more breaths. Last breath in, and then we'll drop right knee back down onto the earth. Let's come into a cow pose again. Tilt that tailbone and head, breathing in. Exhale, rounding and emptying, letting it out. Pressing palms into the earth, send left toes back, nice and long in the spine, really pressing into the earth. And again, feeling that length in your left leg. Now keeping the hips even. If you'd like, you can float left leg off the earth. Perfect. Yeah, and really press that heel back. Yes. And again, you can stay here. If you'd like, you can add reaching that right arm, the opposite arm, long. We call this balance table. It's a great core exercise, great way to stabilize. Not necessary to keep the arm lifted. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And on your exhale, drop your left knee down onto the earth. Inhale to your cow pose. Awesome. Exhale, round to your cat. Perfect. We're going to come into downward dog now. So you can walk your hands just about a hand's distance longer away from your body. Roll over your toes, and when you're ready, lifting your hips up nice and tall. Keep a bend in your knees. You can even walk your feet a little wider if you want. You can even bring them a little closer to your hands. So what we want here is to really focus on the arms and the shoulders,
pressing fingers into the ground and feeling that lift up in the hips. So imagine that someone is lifting up your hips, like your hips are on a balloon, right? They're being pulled up nice and high, still keeping a bend in your knees. And we'll take just 3 breaths here. Perfect. Last breath in. Let it out. Ha. And then let's walk hands back 2 feet. As you do that, you can move your blanket over to the side. Maybe walk your feet a little closer together. Bring your hands onto your shins. Nice long spine. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold and let it go. Ha. Perfect. Let's do that twice more. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold, let it go. Ha. Perfect. One more. Inhale. Exhale, fold, let it go. Ha. And then press through both feet. Let's rise up. Let's rise up. Take your time. 1 vertebrae at a time. Slowly reaching hands up overhead. Feeling a stretch in your arm bones. Getting nice and long and open. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And you can always have your feet at hips width distance if you prefer. Let's get long in the arm bones. And then when we're ready, let's dip over to the left, opening up through the right ribs. In class, we tend to start with the right side first, so you can feel your right ribs opening up, getting nice and long, breathing in. Exhale, come through center, pressing through left foot. Let's reach over to the other side. And opening up through your left ribs. Breathing in there, getting long in your left side. Yeah. Take 1 more breath in. Exhale, back to center, stretch. Pressing through both feet, reach your hands up nice and high. Breathe in. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're here in our standing pose. We call this Tadasana. Pressing heels into the ground. Let's stretch arms alongside. So Tadasana in yoga, every pose is just a variation of Tadasana, just standing on the earth. So again, you can have your feet at hips width distance. You can have them together. Let's lift up toes and fan them back down. Perfect. Press your heels into the ground. Yeah. And then stretch your arm bones down. You can lift your shoulders up and then exhale, roll shoulders down back. Nice and tall in the crown of your head. Belly into spine. So strong here. Let's take a breath in. Let it go. Ah. 1 more. Breathe in. And out. On your next inhale, let's sweep hands up to the sky. Exhale, dive down to the earth. You can walk your hands forward, walk your feet back. We'll come through downward dog, stretching your hips up nice and high. And then on your exhale, drop your knees. You bring your knees out wide, bring your toes to touch, and walk yourself back to a child's pose. In your child's pose, your forehead can be on the earth. If this is too much on your hips, there's lots of options here. Obviously, you can also pad your knees. And if it's feeling a little bit more like you need some extra support in between your, or for your knees or for your hips, you can slide a blanket. I like to roll mine. And then slide it in between my thighs and my heels. And with those knees up nice and wide, you can drop your head down to the earth and it can feel really, really nice. Just some extra support, even if you don't need it. And let's just hang here for about 5 breaths. Letting your body melt into the earth. Letting yourself soften and release. Letting the breath come into the backs of your ribs. Now we're going to walk ourselves into a final resting pose. So you can take your blankets, and if you'd like that nice roll blanket, you can even use it, maybe reduce it a little bit. You can put it underneath your head, and then just turn yourself over and bring your head down onto the blanket, arms along your sides. Hips can be on this blanket if that feels nice. You can also, if you want, slide the blanket, maybe fold it in half a little bit and bring it underneath your knees. Arms are along your sides, and we're coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. In this shape, we're resting, totally resting. No physical movement, no engagement, no challenge. What you want here is to allow your body and your mind to relax. We come into Shavasana, final resting pose, corpse pose at the end of class to integrate all the work that you've done, all the breath and the movement. And let your body reconnect to release. In yoga, we celebrate and honor the body. And Shavasana is really the culmination of that celebration. In celebration of body, we rest. Just take one more breath in and let it go. Perfect. You can slowly walk your knees, bend your knees. You can roll to the side if you'd like. And just pause for a moment. There's no rush. There's no need to move too quickly. Really savor this moment. And slowly come up to a seat. Crossing ankles, bringing head tall. You can grab your supports if you'd like again. And bring your hands to heart center. And so now we come back to that intention that you set at the beginning of practice. And now we feel its truth. I am beginning with ease. I am beginning with compassion. I am beginning. And so with that full feeling in your heart, in your toes, in your hands, and your fingertips, we'll take a big breath in together and sigh it out. And bring your thumb knuckles up to forehead center. Dear yogi, take a breath in with me. And on your exhale, as we bow together, we say, Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. This is a beautiful beginning, a beautiful entryway into yoga. I hope this was informative. I hope it gave you a wonderful experience. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for our next video. Be well, yogi. Be well.